There's a lot of beautiful places in this world, and they all can leave you with something to recall. But there's a land in my heart, in my bones, and on my mind, where the sun pours honey down on your face every day. I need the cool fresh air coming from the sea, and the feeling that you're near with flowers in your hair, where we can walk hand in hand on a sunny beach and just give our love the gifts of our lives. In Seychelles que j'aime, you will never ever leave my mind. Seychelles que j'aime, I can't live without Seychelles and you.
You have just landed on Denis Private Island, 95 kilometers north of Mahé, the main island of the Seychelles. Discovered in 1773 by French navigator Denis de Trobriand, this crescent-shaped coral jewel is the perfect tropical getaway. As you make your way inside the island, its riches and mysteries start to unveil. From its 100-year-old lighthouse warning passing ships against the reefs, the remnants of a mysterious cemetery for which no known record exists, and the Chapel Saint-Denis, the only ecumenical chapel of the Seychelles. For many years, the lighthouse has been observing radiant crops springing proudly from this farm in the area. It has also witnessed the advancement from traditional farming, which is always in practice, to the use of shade houses and drip irrigation mechanisms to ensure a constant supply of fresh vegetables taken from the farm directly to the hotel tables.
Et bon client est content de quelque chose organique qui n'a pas aucun engrais, aucun quelque chose artificiel là-dedans. Les autres sortis ici, ceux qui ont mangé, ils sont très satisfaits. Et même envie de retourner encore pour d'autres services à même produit qu'ils ont servi.
Here, traditional farming using seagrass as an organic fertilizer delivers a variety of vegetables from eggplants, tomatoes to okra, and sometimes in surplus.
Peut-être pas pour les croire, la communauté, ça c'est tomates qui nous en a. Et même trop pour nos consommations ici. Et même nous avons envoyé un peu, en surplus, nous avons envoyé maïs, head office décide qui pour faire avec, si pour donner staff, si autres pour vendre staff, c'est quoi.
Hydroponic farming and drip irrigation help produce those healthy tomatoes, but also help conserve precious drinking water for the inhabitants. Appropriate methods if more crop varieties are in view.
On a banane déjà, banane Saint-Jacques, banane Gabou, banane mille qui nous peut continuer à forcer nos jardins pour forcer pour nous gagner assez ça qui nous besoin loger ici.
To produce from an egg to a cow is the objective of the livestock production management of Denis Island. This farm is maybe one breeding the widest variety of animals in the Seychelles. From duck, hens, broiler and layer chicken, geese, guinea fowl, rabbit, quail, turkey and more, they all grow here in the most hygienic conditions. Food production on Denis is strictly controlled, and only the best products are offered to the clients and the inhabitants. These types of activity, where agriculture and tourism coexist side by side, complements and prove the Food and Agriculture Organization concept of a sustainable agricultural intensification practice a reality. And here, the island is totally self-sufficient in this category. Pigs of different breeds and sizes are found here. The island is well catered for in pork meat. The feed for the animals come from the hotel kitchen, where the leftovers are boiled daily with coconut, island papayas, and leftover vegetables and fruits. This provides a daily and healthy, reliable source of food for these animals. The shredding of different plant leaves in abundance on the island also provides more than 60% of the food needed for the animals. The plentiful growing coconut seedlings and shredded leaves are mixed and used as fodder. On Denis Island, apart from fish, meat is the most consumed, especially cattle meat. The over 50 heads of cattle live in the open. The physical aspect of Denis Island naturally provides necessary space for a variety of activities, and in this case, the ideal breeding of healthy cattle and healthy living of others, watching the flow of the fresh milk we all need so much. In the field of meat production and in agriculture, again the island has further refined projects.
Bientôt, nous avons une idée pour nous commencer à produire nos bacon, jambon, saucisses salées, puis la viande salée, un peu ham, salami, bonne quelque chose ça qui nous a servi pour nos propres consommations ici aux îles.
Vegetables and other farm products are constantly in movement on the island. Club cars move frequently from the farm to the hotel and the airstrip for cargo exchange as the plane lands at least once a day. The arrival and takeoff of the aircraft is a highlight in itself. The charm of the remote and secluded aspect of Denis is felt here. Everyone is wondering who and what will be arriving from the main island of Mahé and what will be making its way back. The airstrip is an entry and departure point very important for hygiene control.
You know, the policy of the hotel is that we have to look into staff luggage. One is to see if we don't have any illegal substance, and the second one is, we have the rat protocol, so we need to see if there's nothing that can bring either rats or we can bring things which can affect our vegetation of the island. Toutes les choses qui entrent aux îles, ils entrent either avec un avion ou ça avec hélicoptère, et tout staff il a demandé que le temps qui vient, tout ce bagage, il gagne fouiller là-dedans, ça existe pour vérifier qu'ils n'ont pas amené quelque chose qui est capable tomber dans des légumes ou quelque chose qui ça nous a gagné white flies, et aussi pour protection qui nous pas entrer avec une substance illégale aux îles. Bon bateau, nous besoin veiller bateau qui peut entrer dans la baie, tout le monde qui voit, either qui dit côté l'hôtel, ou ça dit côté estate, à cause, comme on connaît, ici, Denis Private Island, une île qui nous dit rodent free, nous n'avons pas les rats, nous n'avons pas ni les chiens ni sat, raison que nous n'avons pas ni les chiens ni sat, à cause de nos oiseaux, population d'oiseaux, ils ont grandi ici, qui si nous tenons un prédateur, ces oiseaux pas capables de prendre.
The fragile ecosystem of Denis Island is the home of very special animals. Amidst this lush and densely forested interior of the island, a combination of some of the world's most endangered endemic species is striving to make themselves feel well at home.
Working together with local NGOs like the Green Islands Foundation, Denis Private Island is running several biodiversity conservation projects that are fully supported by the Seychelles government and fit into national biodiversity conservation programs.
A fragile ecosystem indeed, where nature lovers, scientists and conservationists find their utmost happiness.
Those birds that were translocated here, they are the very rare birds, rare endemic birds that are on the international red list of endangered birds of the world. And they have been introduced here as a measure to boost up the stock, where they can find the feed, the natural habitat where they can multiply and continue to exist. Those birds are the Seychelles magpie robin, the Seychelles warbler, the Seychelles foddy, and the Seychelles paradise flycatcher.
Are these endemic birds threatened in any way here, or are they completely safe?
Introducing those birds was a very delicate business. We had to monitor those endangered endemic birds that are being introduced here to ensure that they are doing well and they are populating on the island.
In this natural haven, reflecting tireless and ongoing conservation efforts, moving around is totally safe without the presence of any threat whatsoever. Mother Nature here also takes care of things in its own way, like the water factor for animals. So you have your own wetlands?
On Denis Island, we have our own wetland. It is a very important part of the ecosystem. It is where the birds on the island gets their water to feed on. This is a natural wetland. It is a very important part of the natural ecosystem of the island. It is in the middle of the woodland forest of the island, and it has been in existence ever since Denis Island was discovered.
Making our way through the forest, we reflected on how introduced species like birds in our particular case can be very fragile in their attempt to adapt to new environments, though they might have been a bit similar to their previous habitats. Endemic birds and other endemic species are not alone in the wild.
We are very happy with the breeding of our birds on the island. However, danger is everywhere. To the island, we identify the risk of certain risk to the birds. For instance, the island is rodent-free. We cannot afford to allow the reintroduction of rodents to the island. When I say rodents, I mean particularly rats. We cannot allow to have rats on the island. Rats will be a grave danger to the human beings on the island, and it will be a danger to everything on the island, particularly the endemic birds on the island that we are trying to protect for the future generations.
Denis Island is being saved for future generations, and that the birds, the nature, as well as the tourists that come here every year, enjoy the island to its fullest.
As part of the dream to save for future generations, the forests nurturing those fragile animals must be well managed. Denis Island has a precise forest management plan of renewal. Invasive plants must be controlled at all costs and put to good use when necessary.
On Denis Island, we manage our forest. This is an area where we have cut down some excess casuarina trees for us to obtain timber for the coastal works and for the carpentry woodworks on the island. We are planning to replant native trees on this area, trees like Takamaka, Bois de Nat and Bois de Tab, to reforest the area after we have cleared the area.
At the basis of this forest and wood management plan is a rich nursery providing the ideal plant for the ideal place and maybe the ideal occasion.
Yes, indeed, we are at the Denis Island Tree Nursery. It is the location where we prepare a selection of coastal vegetation to be replanted on the affected coastal areas. And also we are preparing seedlings to be planted in the forest. Here I have a plant of guadaman. It is one of the plants that has been prepared in this tree nursery as an anti-erosion control plant. There are other coastal plants that we are preparing. For example, we have Bois-Cassin, we have casuarina, we have Takamaka, we have guadaman and Bois Blanc, Porcé and Bois de Rose. Those are the selection of plants that are grown on the island that we are also going to plant them in the woodland to enhance the woodland of the island.
The trees of Denis not only beautify, but they also contribute to the comfort of its guests. The hotel's furniture is fashioned from the island's forest by resident carpenters.
Le service local, majorité pour clients, il y a différentes couleurs. Pour les clients demandent quelle c'est une couleur, quelle qualité du bois, ça l'autre couleur, quelle qualité du bois. Quand les clients puis apprécient qui du bois important, quand on a allé dehors, on trouve même du bois. Le soir les autres viennent ici, même les autres demandent un bout pour travailler la ville.
On Denis, landscaping is approached with particular attention. Flowers, trees and other plants are carefully selected to beautify the hotel and villas.
In the nursery, we also prepare plants for beautification of the island, the gardens on the island, especially the gardens of the hotel surrounding. It is our policy to prepare plants that exist on the island and not to bring in alien plants that does not exist from the island, in case that it can introduce diseases and insects that should not be introduced on the island.
Across the planet, there are plants and animal species that have disappeared completely or severely affected. On Denis, there is a hope to attract and bring back a past colony of sooty terns, once a permanent inhabitant to the island. Today, scientific efforts are being carried out for their reintroduction now that there are no rodents and felines and there is an adequate open land and food supply in proximity.
Friends, what I'm about to tell you now is a unique experience that we are making on Denis Island, which we're hoping it will bring about some good results. When Denis Island was discovered, there were lots of sooty terns nesting on Denis Island. Later on, when there was a coconut plantation that was developed on the island, the sooty terns left the island and didn't come back. Now, with this sooty tern rehabilitation project that we have, the plastic models that you see on the ground are models of the sooty terns that has been placed there. It's a unique experience that we are developing with some speakers broadcasting sounds of the sooty terns, welcoming back the sooty terns that often are seen flying above the island. The project started 2-3 years ago, and it is up to now bringing very good results. And last year we